Peace be upon you all. Today I want to speak about a very important matter, a matter of courage, conviction, and the path of truth. There comes a time in life when standing for what is right may feel isolating. You may feel alone, misunderstood, or even opposed by those around you. Yet, this is the very moment where your faith and character are tested, and Allah, in His infinite wisdom, prepares a higher place for those who choose truth over popularity, honesty over convenience, and integrity over comfort. There is a profound courage required when a person chooses to stand alone for the truth. It is easy to follow the majority, to align oneself with what is popular, to do what everyone else is doing, and to speak what everyone else is speaking. But the moment a person decides to uphold truth, even when it conflicts with the opinions, desires, or pressures of those around them, a challenge arises, a challenge that tests not only their patience but also the depth of their faith. This courage is not merely physical, it is spiritual, emotional, and moral. It is the quiet strength that allows a person to remain firm in the face of criticism, mockery, and isolation. Often standing alone is not about confrontation with others, but a confrontation with oneself, a test of one's principles and conviction. The world may appear intimidating, and the pressure to conform may seem overwhelming, yet the individual who chooses the path of truth embraces the responsibility of integrity, knowing that their actions reflect their inner character. It requires wisdom to discern what is right, strength to resist the easy path, and patience to withstand moments when others turn away or misunderstand your intentions. In such moments, every glance of doubt from those around you, every whisper of disapproval, and every sigh of disbelief becomes a part of the trial that strengthens the soul, polishes the heart, and deepens the connection with the one who is all-knowing and all-aware. The reward of sincerity is one of the most beautiful realities in life, though it is often unseen by the eyes of people. When a person stands for truth, when they uphold what is right with no expectation of praise or recognition, this sincerity becomes a shield and a treasure in the sight of Allah. People may question your motives, misunderstand your actions, or even belittle your efforts, but what truly matters is the intention behind each word, each decision, and each act of courage. Sincerity is the invisible thread that connects your heart to your Lord, a connection that strengthens even when the world seems distant, hostile, or indifferent. It is easy to perform deeds when they are noticed, applauded, or celebrated, but the real test comes when no one sees, when no one acknowledges, and when standing for truth comes at a personal cost. At that moment, sincerity shines the brightest. Every step taken, every choice made, every sacrifice endured in the name of truth is counted and cherished by Allah. It becomes a source of light in the darkness, a source of reward that transcends time, circumstance, and worldly recognition. And the more sincere a person is, the greater the purity of their soul becomes, allowing them to remain steadfast and unshaken, even when surrounded by opposition or alone in their journey. Sincerity transforms ordinary actions into acts of worship, turning trials into opportunities, loneliness into connection with the divine, and courage into a pathway of eternal value. There is a profound truth that those who stand for what is right, even when it is unpopular or when they are alone, are granted a higher status in the sight of Allah, a rank that cannot be measured by worldly standards. People may not see it, they may not recognize it, and the world may even treat such individuals with scorn, ridicule, or indifference. But Allah looks beyond the surface and rewards based on sincerity, steadfastness, and devotion to truth. The higher status is not always immediate or visible in worldly life. Sometimes it is a subtle elevation of character, a strengthening of heart, and a purification of the soul. Other times, it is a clear manifestation of honor and respect that comes from standing firm in the face of adversity. The one who is all-knowing sees the struggle, the patience, and the courage, and He elevates the person in ways that no human can measure. It is a reminder that true rank and honor are not given by popularity, wealth, or influence, but by integrity, conviction, and the willingness to uphold what is right, even when it is difficult. This higher station is a reflection of divine recognition, a mark of favor from Allah, and a source of inner peace and confidence that nothing in this world can provide. It strengthens a person to continue on the path of righteousness, to remain firm in trials, and to endure moments of isolation, knowing that their commitment to truth carries a weight and value in the sight of the Creator far beyond the understanding of those around them. When a person chooses to stand for truth, tests and trials become an inevitable part of their journey, for the path of righteousness is never meant to be easy or without challenge. Life has a way of testing our convictions, of presenting situations that push us to the edge of our patience, and of confronting us with circumstances that seem unfair or overwhelming. These trials are not punishments, but opportunities for growth, purification, and elevation in the sight of Allah. Every difficulty, every opposition, every moment of loneliness is a test of the strength of one's faith and the sincerity of one's intentions. The world may try to sway the believer with temptations, falsehood, or pressures to conform, but these challenges are precisely what separate those who are steadfast from those who are weak in resolve. Trials serve as a mirror, reflecting our weaknesses, our fears, and the areas in which our hearts may still be vulnerable. Yet they also serve as a forge, shaping the soul, refining patience, and strengthening reliance on Allah. Those who face adversity while remaining committed to truth develop a resilience that is unmatched, a fortitude that allows them to continue their mission even when the path seems uncertain, and a reliance on the divine that becomes the ultimate source of comfort and strength. In enduring trials, a person learns humility, gains wisdom, and understands that true success is not measured by ease or popularity, but by perseverance, courage, and the ability to remain upright in the face of opposition. There are moments in life when following the crowd can lead a person far away from truth, and it takes immense awareness and courage to recognize this reality and choose a different path. Human nature often inclines us to seek comfort in numbers, to feel secure in the approval of the majority, and to align with popular opinion, even when it conflicts with what is right. But standing for truth sometimes means distancing oneself from the crowd, refusing to participate in falsehood, and resisting the pressures of conformity that can lead to compromise and moral weakness. It is not an easy choice, for the voices of those around us can be persuasive, their judgments sharp, and the fear of isolation strong. Yet wisdom teaches that the approval of the masses is fleeting, while the approval of Allah is eternal and immeasurable. Those who recognize this choose integrity over convenience, honesty over acceptance, and righteousness over fleeting social comfort. Avoiding the crowd in falsehood does not mean arrogance or isolation for its own sake, but it is a conscious and deliberate act of preserving one's faith, character, and principles. It is an acknowledgement that truth is not always popular, that righteousness may often be solitary, and that sometimes the greatest courage is to walk alone, guided by conscience and conviction rather than by the opinions of others. In learning to step away from what is wrong, a person strengthens their moral compass, clarifies their intentions, and draws nearer to the one who observes all actions, understands all struggles, and rewards all efforts in his perfect wisdom. Even when a person stands alone, even when the weight of the world seems to press upon their shoulders, and even when there is no one around to understand, support, or acknowledge their struggle, there is a reality that must never be forgotten. Allah's support is always present. The one who created the heavens and the earth, who knows what is hidden in every heart, and who is aware of every thought and intention, is closer to us than we often realize. When a believer feels isolated, misunderstood, or burdened by trials, it is not a sign of abandonment, but a reminder that true reliance must be placed upon the Creator alone. Divine support manifests in many ways, sometimes through subtle comfort in the heart, sometimes through guidance in decisions, and sometimes through unexpected relief in moments of hardship. It reassures the soul that no effort for truth is wasted, that no act of courage goes unnoticed, and that no sacrifice is beyond the awareness of Allah. Even if the entire world stands against you, even if voices of doubt and ridicule surround you, you are never truly alone, for the presence of Allah encompasses all things. Recognizing this support strengthens patience, deepens trust, and transforms fear into courage. For the believer understands that the unseen hand of divine guidance is at work in every situation. This awareness allows a person to continue standing firm, to remain sincere in their actions, and to walk the path of righteousness with confidence, knowing that what may seem lonely in the moment is actually a journey accompanied by the most faithful and powerful companion imaginable. Patience is a virtue that carries immense weight in the sight of Allah, especially for those who choose to stand alone for truth. When a person faces trials, opposition, or misunderstanding, it is patience that becomes the anchor of their faith, the quiet strength that allows them to endure without giving in to despair or frustration. True patience is not merely waiting or tolerating difficulty, it is an active, conscious choice to remain steadfast in righteousness, to trust in Allah's timing, and to maintain integrity when the world may mock, pressure, or reject you. Those who exercise patience while standing for truth are like travelers walking through a harsh desert, knowing that beyond the sand and heat there is an oasis of reward, a place of comfort, peace, and honor prepared by Allah. Each trial endured, each moment of endurance without complaint, And each act of courage performed despite fear becomes a form of worship and a source of elevation in the hereafter. Patience refines the soul, strengthens reliance on the Creator, and distances the believer from despair or resentment, transforming hardship into a means of spiritual growth. It teaches that temporary discomfort, loneliness, or opposition are insignificant compared to the eternal success that awaits those who persevere. Those who practice patience while remaining committed to truth cultivate a heart that is resilient, a spirit that is unwavering, and a character that is beloved in the sight of Allah, for every act of endurance is recorded, every struggle is seen, and every moment of steadfastness brings one closer to the high station and eternal bliss that Allah has promised to those who choose His path over the fleeting ease of the world. Standing for truth does not only affect the present, it leaves a profound, lasting impact on the life of a believer and the world around them. Every decision to remain upright, every act of courage to uphold what is right, sends ripples far beyond what the eye can see or the heart can immediately feel. People may forget the moment, misinterpret the action, or fail to recognize the significance of standing alone, but the effects of truth are timeless. The example set by one who chooses honesty over deceit, justice over compromise, and righteousness over convenience becomes a guide for future generations, a silent teaching that strengthens the moral fabric of society. Even if the immediate surroundings seem hostile or indifferent, the seeds planted through integrity, patience, and courage will bear fruit in ways unseen and often unexpected. Allah preserves the legacy of those who uphold truth, ensuring that their efforts and sacrifices continue to have meaning, inspire others, and elevate their station in ways that the individual might never witness in this world. There is an enduring power in standing firm, for truth carries with it a light that shines far beyond the darkness of opposition, illuminating paths, hearts, and minds for those who come after, and creating a spiritual footprint that connects the temporary life of this world with the eternal promise of the hereafter. There is a unique and profound peace that fills the heart of a person who chooses to stand for truth, even when everyone else has turned away or disagrees. This peace is not dependent on circumstances, on the approval of others, or on worldly success, for it comes directly from knowing that one's actions are sincere, guided by conscience, and in accordance with the will of Allah. When a believer remains steadfast in truth, they experience an inner calm that surpasses the noise of criticism, opposition, and misunderstanding that may surround them. It is a quiet certainty, a reassurance in the heart that even if the entire world rejects their stance, their loyalty to righteousness has a value far greater than any recognition or reward that people can offer. This inner peace nurtures the soul, strengthens patience, and provides clarity in times of confusion or temptation, allowing the believer to navigate life with confidence, humility, and grace. Unlike fleeting worldly comforts, this tranquility is lasting and resilient, rooted in the knowledge that every choice for truth aligns the heart with divine wisdom and eternal purpose. It protects the individual from the fear of loneliness, diminishes the burden of opposition, and transforms the sense of isolation into a state of spiritual elevation, where the believer can feel close to Allah and reassured in the knowledge that their integrity is recognized by the one who sees all, knows all, and rewards all acts of devotion and sincerity. The ultimate reward for those who stand alone for truth is found not in the fleeting pleasures or recognition of this world, but in the eternal bliss and honor that Allah has prepared for the steadfast and sincere believer in the hereafter. Every moment of patience, every act of courage, every decision to uphold righteousness in the face of opposition is recorded, preserved, and valued beyond human comprehension. Those who endure isolation for the sake of truth will find that their trials become a source of elevation, their hardships become a bridge to immense spiritual reward, and their courage becomes a key to doors of paradise that are otherwise closed to those who compromise on integrity. The pleasure of Allah, the closeness to Him, and the ultimate tranquility of the heart await those who persevere, providing a reward that no worldly wealth, fame, or power could ever match. The believers who remain firm in their convictions will enter a station where they are honored above others, where their struggles are recognized in ways that transcend the limitations of this life, and where their patience and sincerity are celebrated in a realm of eternal peace, light, and comfort. In the hereafter, the one who stood alone for truth will find that what seemed lonely and difficult in this life was actually a preparation for a grandeur and elevation that is beyond imagination, a reward that is proportional not to the applause of people, but to the approval and mercy of the most merciful, the one who sees, knows, and honors every effort made in His name. When a person chooses to stand alone for truth, one of the most profound benefits is the strength of character that develops within them. Life does not grant such resilience easily, and the path of righteousness is rarely smooth or comfortable, yet those who persevere cultivate qualities that cannot be bought, borrowed, or inherited. Every challenge, every moment of opposition, every time the individual resists compromise and holds firm to what is right, contributes to the shaping of an inner strength that is both enduring and unshakable. Character is refined in the crucible of trials, tested in the face of loneliness, and illuminated by sincerity and conviction. Those who walk this path develop courage that is quiet but firm, patience that is deep and steadfast, and wisdom that guides decisions even when circumstances seem overwhelming. The person who stands alone for truth becomes someone whose actions are guided by principle rather than by the opinions of others, whose conscience becomes a source of clarity, and whose integrity shines even in the darkness of misunderstanding or misjudgment. This strength of character not only benefits the individual in their personal spiritual journey, but also has a lasting impact on the world around them, inspiring others, setting an example of moral courage, and creating ripples of righteousness that extend beyond immediate recognition. It is through such steadfastness that a believer becomes a person of reliability, trust, and honor, whose inner fortitude allows them to remain firm, patient, and committed regardless of external pressures or the fleeting desires of the world. When a person stands alone for truth, they may feel isolated in the moment, as if no one around them understands their courage, their choices, or their convictions. Yet the impact of such a stand often extends far beyond what they can see. One act of integrity, one moment of honesty, or one refusal to follow falsehood can quietly inspire countless others, planting seeds of awareness, courage, and righteousness in hearts that are observing silently. People may not immediately follow, and recognition may not be given, yet those who witness steadfastness, even from a distance, begin to understand the value of truth and the strength it requires to uphold it. This form of silent influence is powerful because it does not rely on words, speeches, or declarations. It relies on the authenticity of the person's actions, the consistency of their principles, and the unwavering nature of their commitment. Others see the patience in the face of adversity, the courage in moments of opposition, and the serenity that comes from aligning one's life with what is right. And gradually, hearts are moved, minds are opened, and faith is strengthened. Solitary stands for truth create a ripple effect. Touching lives in ways that may never be known to the one standing, yet Allah records every effort, every sacrifice, and every moment of courage, ensuring that these actions have significance far beyond what is apparent in the immediate world. By remaining steadfast, a believer not only secures a high station for themselves, but also becomes a source of light and guidance for those around them, showing that truth is worth standing for, even when it is lonely, even when it is difficult, and even when it seems that no one else understands. Brothers and sisters, after reflecting on all these truths, one thing becomes clear: standing alone for truth is not a burden but a privilege. Every challenge faced, every moment of patience, every act of courage, and every sacrifice made in the way of righteousness is seen, recorded, and valued by Allah. What may seem lonely, difficult, or unrecognized in this world is, in reality, a preparation for a higher station, a purification of the soul, and a pathway to eternal reward. Allah elevates those who remain steadfast, who hold firmly to their principles, and who choose integrity over convenience, knowing that their sincerity and patience will never go unnoticed. So, take courage in your journey, hold fast to the truth, and remember that your efforts are never in vain, for Allah is with those who stand firm, and He prepares for them a place far beyond what the eyes can see and the heart can imagine.